Hey, welcome to Sunday, folks. We're glad you're here with us. So, we don't have a topic today, and we are missing a couple scoops. So, we're just going to have uncurated conversation and just talk about whatever comes on our mind. So, let's talk, ladies. What's been going on? What's been happening?
Have you got something on the mind, Mama? Go for it.
Oh, 2025. I am going to be doing a recap of my 2025 year here shortly. I'll be putting that out there on my Scoopalicious Instagram and on maybe on Facebook. Just want to do a recap so then I can look on it later and just reflect on my healing process. I've been doing a lot of journaling lately, and I think I may have mentioned on a previous podcast because I think Paula showed her journal. Carolina, you may have showed your journal too. I've been doing a lot of journaling and putting things out there on paper. And when I go back and I read it, I break my own heart. When I look at things from 2 years ago, I'm like, whoa, I was really in that place 2 years ago. And so I think I'm going to do like a little video vlog, as my daughter calls it. She's going to be my manager and get this up and rock and rolling here for me soon. So her and I have had some business discussions this week.
I love that.
Yeah.
Are you able to talk about it, or is it too premature right now?
About my 2025 recap.
And your
Business
business ideas with Mo?
She's just going to manage my social media, make my videos. I don't think I have the time or patience, and I'm searching for my glasses constantly to look at my phone, and it's really quite frustrating. So if I just get some young, fresh eyes, she can take it on, and I'll pay her for her time. So that's the plan.
So you have a goal to be like a social media influencer now?
No. I just want to help get this podcast going. This is Paula's baby, and I want to help her see it through and help it be successful. And so whatever I can do on my part for that, I want to do it.
Oh,
You
that's
guys know
awesome.
my goal is more like real estate and talking about commercial real estate. But I think we all know her dream and stuff. And, we're supposed to support each other. I'd like to support her anyway, because I
Nice.
don't mind being on social media. Like, I know some of us don't want to really do that. And there's a part of me that doesn't really want to, but then I'm kind of toying with it, I guess you could say, going up and down on what I want to share and not share. But
Yeah.
Monique was like, you need to be vulnerable, mom. People want vulnerability. People want to see authenticity. So you guys know I'm vulnerable, but I need to be authentic. And so, yeah, it's about to get serious. People are not going to like that. Cheers.
Yours.
It's about to get serious.
It's about to get serious. So what about you guys? What's been happening with y'all?
Well,
I mean,
I was going
go
to say,
ahead.
as I was telling you guys earlier that I got to see my son this week. I'm really excited about spending more time trying to get over there and spend as much time as I can with him. For all those who don't know, my son is incarcerated. I haven't been able to see him much. And so this is just really exciting that I got to see him.
Okay. So I have also had a family member that was incarcerated for an amount of time, and that person has not come to me about things that have happened. And it's really hard. And a part of me, and I kind of feel bad for saying this, I am afraid to hear what he has to say. I have the emotional capacity to hear his experience. And I think, Sabby, we've kind of talked about this a little bit. We don't really know what's going on. And we're trying to be strong, and we are strong for our family members as they're going through this very difficult time. What is your support system like outside of us, online, in the community? What is your support system like when it comes to this?
I do belong to a moms with incarcerated sons group on Facebook, and they're really supportive. A lot of times I'm afraid to read and join in the group because I have I have a very, 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 very low, I don't know what you want to call it. Like my empathy button is just like the moment that it just takes a little bit to just make me fall apart. So just thinking about what other moms are going through, sometimes it's really difficult. And you're right. My son hasn't really come to me with many things, which has spared me, but makes me feel a little selfish because I think I'm not ready to hear those things. Like it's really difficult to be in a place where you cannot put a band aid or you can't rescue. And so when I'm in that space, it makes it difficult. My stomach tends to hurt a lot. I'm anxious a lot when the phone rings to talk with him. It's just some things that I go through, but I do share that with, my friends. I do share that with the moms, other moms when I do log on, and they're really supportive. And so are you guys, really supportive. Constantly praying for my baby, my precious cargo.
And you recently got to see him.
I did, which was difficult at first. I had to prepare for that because it's been a while since I've seen him. I'm reminded of a mom that I had rode in with because they pick you up on a bus and drive you over to the facility. And so I'm reminded of this mom who hadn't seen her son in 5 years. And as we're
Gosh.
walking around the corner, I hear her ask the CO or the officer if she can hug her son, and the wail she let out, baby, let me tell you, I had to force them tears back. Like I could feel it on a level that has never been felt before. And so I had to push him back real quick so that my son didn't see that they were coming. Because if he would have saw, then I wouldn't have been able to hold it together. So
Did that mom get to hug her son?
she hugged him, and the wail lasted ages. It felt like I couldn't run fast enough. I just couldn't. I needed her to stop crying.
How difficult is it for you to even be able to see him? Has the process been difficult?
It's been difficult. I feel like the system does not want to support, they don't want the inmates to have support. It's very discouraging because they do everything in their power to keep the family from sticking through. It took me, that mom, she said it took her 4 months before she could see her son. Four
My
months to get
God.
through on a phone call. And I
Just on a
could,
phone call?
I mean, no, to get through the phone call, because you gotta call every Monday in the particular area where he's at. You call every Monday, and there's limited slots. And when I say limited slots, when I got there, there were only 3 of us. So that's a very limited amount of slots if they're saying one day, Thursday. One is a contact, and then the other 2 are no contact. We had a no contact visit. And so that mom had told me, she said she'd been trying for months and she lived hours away. She lived like 5 hours away from her son. And so for me, it wasn't as hard. I don't know, maybe the favor of the Lord, prayer. I don't know what happened, but I was able to get a call the second week. The first week I couldn't get in. The second week I attempted and I was able to get in.
Praise God.
Yeah,
That's heavy.
it is. There's not a day that goes by that I have to keep my thoughts together. I have to stay prayerful. I have to ask the Lord to keep my mind, because if I don't, I'll let my mind go places that it shouldn't go.
And I don't know if you agree with me, and ladies, feel free to chime in, but there seems to be this stigma that parents have failed, and so we are looked upon a particular way. They don't treat us with respect when it comes to communicating with facilities to visit family members, when we inquire about family members. I was a correctional officer for many, many years in the state of Colorado and in Oklahoma. Oklahoma was very, very hardcore. Those inmates were no joke. And they're still people, they're still humans. And I did see how difficult it was for families to interact with their family members, that are incarcerated, mothers, fathers, daughter, children. It's not an easy system to navigate. And I think that it's just more like, well, you did the crime and then it's just, shuffled away. And I just think it has not gotten any better. In fact, from hearing and being a part of this for just a few years, couple years, it seems to have gotten worse.
But yeah, it's
And
It's
bad.
terrible.
and how do you advocate for your loved one? You know,
I'm still learning. I'm not the best at advocating. I'm still learning the ropes of who to contact for every violation or every mishap that I feel is a mishap. I think that again, I just think that they make it difficult for the family members, the loved ones to be supportive to their loved one. I know that I'm able to be in person. I can see my son in person, but I can't see him virtual. The systems don't even connect. So why is that? You guys should it should all be one whole system, but it doesn't even connect. And so I've got to send separate paperwork in order to see him virtually. And he's in the same prison. It's the same company that's taking it for the in person, and yet you guys can't connect the dots. What is that? In order to send money regularly, the system is always down. Like there's always some kind of flaw with the system. It just makes it really difficult. The phone calls always dropping or static, unbelievable static. I mean, how did the call to the moon happen?
'cause it didn't happen.
It didn't happen. But I mean, come on now. They say the moon had less static. Are you kidding me?
That's crazy.
It's just really frustrating.
I had no idea that it was that difficult to maintain communication with a loved one, with a family member. I have had a calling for a long time to visit the incarcerated, and I have kept wanting to look into that, as like a service. We are called to visit the sick, to visit the incarcerated, to visit people that are lonely. And now I'm just thinking, well, how do you get in as a volunteer if you're not even a family member? Like, I
Uh,
don't understand how people do that. Because I know there's like groups and like church groups that have types of organizations where, you can visit people that are lonely, that don't have any family, that don't have anyone to visit them. So how do volunteers get in there, but mother doesn't? That blows my mind. That's not fair. I don't understand.
it
I
shouldn't take that long. It shouldn't be that hard. It should be slightly effortless. Like you shouldn't have to go through what you go through. I
Yeah.
understand they've made a bad choice. Don't get me
Mhm.
wrong. They've made a bad choice. But if we want the world to grow and get better and to, what's the word, reintegrate into the community, like we've got to make it a little bit more easier for them.
That's not how the United States system is designed.
Absolutely not.
You
Absolutely
know,
not. Especially for,
there are
excuse it,
countries in yeah, there are countries in Europe that they have a great integration system and they don't have repeated offenders. We don't do that here. We lock up and we forget. There's ample opportunity to teach, especially the young offenders who go in. They're still young enough to learn. We already know that the brain doesn't develop until well into the late 20s or 30s for men. Google it. We already know that there's a development between the genders. So let's think about this and let's start helping people grow, learn during this time of incarceration instead of just forgetting about them. We just don't look at it in this country, and
each
it's
state is different though, that's the problem. Each state, the way that they handle their incarceration is just really unfortunate. There are a few private prisons here in Colorado, and the main prisons that are state prisons, they're the ones that offer the programs. The private prison only offers programs at one of the prisons. And then the other prison, just basically stare each other in the face all day long. And so where is the reform in that? Where is the redirection or the reintegration, as I said? How do we get these people back into the community without teaching and training them?
You guys picked such a hard topic that it just hits the nerve. And I'm like, you guys know that I volunteer with the sheriff's office and I have seen their perspective and I am listening to yours too. One thing that comes to my mind, scrupulous and savvy, which is you are not defined by his mistakes and he is not defined by this ugly chapter of his life. There is growth and sometimes growth happen at the hardest of place. As much as it is difficult to comprehend, who's going through this, but sometimes, you just have to let life unfold. I mean, there are loopholes in the systems and I work for those systems and I understand some bit of it, and at the same time, what I as a friend can tell you is you need to take care of yourself. You need to stay connected to him in the ways you can, your voice, your letters, your encouragement matters more than anything else because healing needs support. And the way a mother's love can heal a child, nothing else can.
And I was thinking about that when Lena had mentioned volunteering, people who don't have parents, people to have absolutely no one. What do they have to look forward to? They have no support system other than what might be provided. And I think about those, and this is not really the same thing, but I'm going to tell you real quick. There was, when I was in basic training, everybody had someone to call. When you were there, they were trying to break you down mentally, and then they were going to rebuild you up the way they wanted to build you up, right? Everybody had somebody to call. When you got your phone, they gave you your phone because they kept them locked up. When they got your phone, they were like, okay, you have 3 minutes to make your phone call, or you have 5 minutes. It depended on how well we behaved at that time. And we got our phone calls and people would be crying on the phone. It was very emotional. Even I got emotional because I didn't get to hear my kids' voices. I had to pick that one phone call and hope that that person answered. And then letters. Letters were so important. Getting letters, we had to do a push-up. You had to do like 20 push-ups for a package and like 5 push-ups for a postcard and 10 push-ups for a letter. It was so important. And there was one soldier, and I'll never forget his name, and I'm not going to say it here. He never got a letter. He never got a postcard. He never got a package. And when we all had to go home for the 2 weeks that they shut the base down, because when I went to basic training, I left November 5th. So there was a 2-week time in December that all soldiers had to go home and then return back in January. He had nowhere to go. And they were like, well, I guess we'll go ahead and give you some barracks to stay in. And my heart broke for this kid because you guys remember, I'm 35 years old. I am going to basic training with these kids who are my kids' age. He had no one. And I think about these young kids and these kids who are incarcerated, these adults who are incarcerated who have no one, how it can break a spirit. And I saw him broken. I saw the tears and I saw him sitting in the corner watching everybody else get a phone call and he had no one to call. Everybody else got a letter and he never got one. And I can only imagine how that is when you're incarcerated, when you've made a mistake. And again, we should not be defined by our mistakes. So we're not perfect. And I feel really terrible for those people who are not getting those phone calls, those letters, those visits.
I mean, you're already so isolated. You're already confined. You're already feeling alone. We were not created to be alone. God did not create man and woman to be alone. We need connection. We need human touch. We need communication. We need to see each other. We need to touch each other. We need to feel love and compassion and connection. It's so important. That breaks my heart.
I'm so glad
Absolutely
he
breaks
has
my
you.
heart.
Yeah. Glad he's got a great mama like you.
I'm glad I have a great support system like you guys to help me through this, help me with this, stand with me, you know. It's not easy. Every day is a new day, and I ask for grace each day mercy and grace as we walk through this because we have quite a few years left to go.
Keep
Mm,
reminding yourself that you are doing the best and your best is enough. Don't overburden yourself.
That's good advice for so
that's
many
really good
things, Minu.
advice.
Your
Yeah.
best is enough. That is such good advice. I have been going through some things when it comes to one of my children and being supportive. Actually, both my kids I want to be supportive to, but one particular child that I'm trying to be supportive to and help navigate some things. And I'm trying to do my best, but I'm also trying to take care of me too. And the tug of war sometimes that I don't think our kids understand is that for so many years, and I'll just speak for myself, for so many years, I put myself aside, set my needs aside for my children. And now, even as an empty nester, I'm still expected to put them first. And I can't do that anymore because I have to take care of myself. I recently came off of, I don't know, like 18 days off, if you include the weekends, just to focus on me, take care of me. I went on a road trip. And I realized today, actually, that is the first solo trip I have ever been on in my life that didn't have a place to go that was to family, because I had a project I needed to get to. I was meeting of it was solely just getting in the car and be like, hey, I want to go check out these caves in Kentucky and I want to go check out Noah's Ark. It was solely something I wanted to do. And it felt good to do something that just for me. It took this long to do it because I've been taking care of everybody else.
I know it's difficult when our kids it's difficult moving into the advisor role. And it's difficult for our kids to accept that they are now in the advisor role. They don't want us to tell them what to do, but they do want us to tell them what to do. And so um it's hard. And I
Our
hear that
opinion
it's
of them
hard.
matters. I think that's why. It's so hard to hear people's opinions of you, even as adults.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
they want to be advised, but they don't want to be advised, but they care what you think as their mom. But, at the age of my kids right now, 20 to 14, they definitely care more about the opinions of their friends than my opinion, which
Yeah.
is hard too, because I get like being influenced by your peers. That happens at any age. But when are they old enough to just see that not only is our opinion important, but we're usually right?
I asked my dad that just the other day. I said, Dad, when did you become so smart? He's like, I've always been this way.
Funny that we are talking about it. I did write in my journal today few lines, and if it's okay, I will read them to you.
Yes,
You
please
know,
share.
so I wrote this morning. It is most mornings, Deanie and I start our day in the same way, just sitting together, talking about everything and nothing. My work, my chaos, her clarity, my thousand tangents, her one straight line. And I'll be honest, there are moments I feel like a mother who's still learning how to understand her own child. Not because she's distant, she's actually the opposite, but because she thinks with the sharpness and certainty that is so different from me. She knows exactly what drains her, what excites her, what she wants to walk towards. She says no with conviction. I still say yes out of habit. She sees me juggling too in many things, watches me lose my threads, listen to me when I'm trying to make sense of my own day. And instead of judging, she gently nudges me back, brings me back on track like a mirror that isn't afraid to reflect the truth. Sometimes I look at her and think, when did the roles shift? When did she become the one with the compass? And I know I am not the only parent who feels like this. This strange mix of admiration and discomfort when your child is wired completely differently from you and is not a mini version of you. There is a whole new stories to be written. And maybe this is called the second act, because second act at its core is about listening to the part of ourselves we ignored the very first time around. The
Mm,
dreams we postponed, the instincts we never trusted, the clarity we never fought for. When I watched Nandini guard her energy, choose her path, and stay true to what matters to her, I realize she is living what most of us learn much later in life. That your story is yours to shape. It's in your own hand. Those simple conversations unknowingly invite me into my own second act to rethink, reset, redirect at this stage in life when I feel I've done enough. So here's my quiet message to all the parents. When your child is nothing like you, don't rush to understand or fit them into your mold. Watch them, learn from them. They might actually be living the version of authenticity you are working towards and are afraid to live.
bravo. That's really good. That should be in a book,
I
you
was
know?
going to say the
That's
same thing.
Really?
beautiful. That's so wise.
It
So
That's how you
wise.
is.
Such good
journal?
advice.
You journal? Listen,
That's how I journal.
my journal do not sound like that, boo.
Well, I bet it
That
would
was
have some
beautiful.
interesting, colorful vocabulary, but I grew up in a very different culture and I am living in a very different culture. And when you see your children who are who don't think like you, who are very Americanized, and you keep wondering, is that my mini me? That's why I wrote this morning this.
Well, I think it's beautiful. It was very well
Thank you.
written. I think you should publish your entire journal. And just like 20 years from now, the writings of Minu, that's going to be my suggestion. And I'm going to be knowing a renowned author in the next, in 20 years. But what I found was that you said that was really beautiful was not trying to mold them into who you are. And I think that is something easy that parents can do. One thing that I am very proud of my daughter. So my daughter and I think we are both very stubborn and we do butt heads, but I am proud that she has made different decisions, different choices than I did. I had moved out at 16 and I didn't graduate high school, and she did graduate high school. She's got options available to her, and she's a good mom and she's a patient mom. And I feel like I was just running ragged as a mom. Like I was just it was very difficult for me as a single mother at such a young age. And I see her patience and I admire her patience when it comes to the kids because I don't feel like I had that patience. And so, and I tell her that I do think that she's a great mom. I don't know if she really believes me or not, but I love to see her doing things differently than I did in a very positive way. She makes a positive flip than what I did. And I think she might be my mini me though.
I always say I operate out of fear and intuition, and my daughter operates out of logic and clarity. So I
Mm.
don't know what's right, what approach is good, but I
Can they
guess we
both
are
be?
still trying to figure out. I think in our own ways, yes, but sometimes it's just hard to accept something where you feel, oh, I have more gray hair, I have more age to myself and wisdom. And then somebody less than half your age comes and just has a, you know, thought or a quick answer to something you've been thinking for a long time.
All my children are so different. I don't feel like any of them are like my personality. They look like me. They look like my husband. They're a perfect mixture of my husband and I when it comes to looks. But as far as their personalities, sometimes with one of them, I'm just like catching up. And
I
sometimes with the other ones, I'm like, you have so much to learn. Like, I know so much more. And, sometimes I'm just like, what is wrong? Like, where is your like sense of self? Where is your self confidence? Where is like your just like, what is the word? I can't think of the word, but just like common sense, sometimes. And, my kids range for 14 all the way up to 20, and they're all just so different. And sometimes my husband and I will look at each other and we're like, didn't we parent them all the same? Why are they so different? And then as they get older, I really feel like the way that I talk to each of them and the way that I just like banter with them or hang out with them is completely different. But then when we're all together, it definitely it's like the soul of the family. Like when we're all together, it just everything clicks. Like last Sunday, that's why I couldn't log on. My daughter came home from college and it was like all 6 of us were here at the same time, and it had felt forever since we'd been together like that. But it'd only been since August, but like we're in the house, I'm in the kitchen, there's people in the sitting area, there's people right here. It was like everything was just like it was synergy. That's the word I'm looking for.
Mm.
But it just motherhood, man. It's tricky, but it's so beautiful and it's such a blessing.
Yeah. There's no right or wrong answer.
No, when you're
Parenting.
doing your best, it is the best. What is it that you said, Minu? That's not
I
what you
said
said.
you're doing your best and your best is enough.
Your best is enough.
My mother
I love
tells me
that.
all the
I love
time.
that.
My mother, every day when I'm, ranting or venting, and I'm tell her how frustrated I get, and I'm like, I did not sign up for this by myself. And she always says, you are doing your best and your best is enough.
Love that. I'm gonna write that on my mirror.
I do want to go back to what you had said, Shannon, in regards to feeling like sometimes the world may look at you like, maybe you didn't do a good job as a parent. And I know within my heart, even though my son is incarcerated, I did do my best. I did every bit of my best, and I'm still doing my best. I haven't given up yet. I'm still breathing on this side of the earth, so therefore I'm gonna continue to do all that I can do to just show up in their life, and that is for both of them. I'm gonna do what it takes to show up in their life and continue to do my best.
Amen.
Well, interesting topics that we ended up talking about today. Do you guys have anything else you want to add before we close out this evening? This wonderful Sunday subject. Thank you, everybody, for joining us, and we hope that you go on to YouTube, like, subscribe. Please put in some comments of topics you'd like for us to discuss, and we'll talk about it, and we will answer your questions. So for now, happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday.